So firstly, I must mention that I will be using a lot of can, might, likely, majority and some, as I have to be very careful with the terminology I'm using, especially in this section. But hopefully you know what I mean by this. Even though the word cancer makes most of us uncomfortable, I feel it is essential to talk about it, as we all have been either directly or indirectly affected by it. Statistically speaking, 1 in 2 people will get cancer at some point of their lives, and only 5 to 10% of all cancers are genetic. Therefore, the rest is preventable. I'm not sure how you guys feel about this information, but I would like to provide you with enough knowledge so you can make better choices and protect your family and friends. This section is quite extensive, as pretty much anything we do might relate to cancer risks. What is cancer? Cancer is caused by genetic mutation in its cells, which would be normally picked up by your healthy immune system. But our modern living appears to be designed to weaken the immune system by air pollution, stress, the sun, radiation, X-rays and environmental toxins. But also our direct choices have huge impact on the chances of getting cancer. These are smoking, poor diet, excessive alcohol consumption, lack of physical activity, but also excessive and exhaustive exercise. All this has a cumulative effect and cause a breakdown in immunity. I will not be going into smoking and excessive alcohol consumption, as we all understand the link, but I want to focus on the areas that you might not be aware of. I want you to think about food as a message. What is the message that you are sending to your body with that particular food or action? Is it to heal your body or is it to damage it? Of course you can't be healthy all the time, but you must give your body more good messages than bad. If you are under constant attack from all the above negative causes that I've listed, then you are likely to be in the high risk group. You need to find the balance. And when choosing food, then always think about the origin of it. Ask yourself the following questions. Is the food I'm eating made in a factory or is it in its pure form? If it is in the pure form, then it's called the whole food, which is widely recommended by health professionals as the way forward to prevent and treat disease. This type of food is your aim. If it's not in the pure form, then you need to read the label and ask yourself, is this made of few ingredients that are clearly understand? Is this organic? Is this free range? Has the animal had a good non-toxic life? I mean, the last question is almost ridiculous. As you will soon find out, toxin-free life is something that existed in the history. We can now only choose the least evil. And anyone who can make the association between steak on a plate and a cow will also understand that majority of farmed animals don't have a good life. And if your food is made, or shall I say processed by someone else than you, it could be factory, it could be restaurant, it could be takeaway. Food like this will be always driven by profits. Just like in supermarkets, who demand longer shelf life and consumers will pressure for lower prices. That's the way it is with any industry, unfortunately. When you prepare your own food from scratch, only then you are in control of the quality of the ingredients. When you consider all these factors, you realize that you are highly likely exposing yourself to poor quality ingredients, low or impaired nutritional value, and mix of preservatives. Please watch my video about takeaways. Unless you grow your own fruit and vegetables, some pesticides are unfortunately present in all of them, even in organic produce, but at much lower levels. The analysis of pesticide residue showed the worst products being oranges, lemons, limes, strawberries, pears and grapes. There are a lot of authors who are highlighting the potential cancer risks with all the above listed means of pest control. However, I have to be very careful here with my statements, and I must note that this is denied by the Cancer Research UK and some other reliable sources. In my opinion, the logic should tell us that if they are created to kill pests, they cannot be good for us even in small amounts, as the toxins have cumulative effect and they will just add to our issues with toxins. So, my advice is stay away from them and buy organic. And Newcastle University presented a comprehensive study during which they reviewed 343 publications from renowned journals. These journals looked at the levels of vitamins, antioxidants, phytochemicals, but also chemical pesticides and poisonous heavy metals such as arsenic, lead and cadmium. The organic crops had between 18 and 69% more antioxidants and 48% less toxins and heavy metals than the conventional produce. I must mention that genetically modified crops and ingredients are banned in organic farming standards. So are dehydrogenated fats, artificial pesticides and additives. In terms of the environment, organic farming works with nature, as it issues fewer pesticides and helps to build the fertility of the soil. Organically grown foods are more expensive, but if you think about the money you spend on takeaways, alcohol or even ill health, buying organic food and homemade cooking is worth the investment. How much would you pay if your health is suffering? Or if you get life-threatening diagnosis? If you still feel that you can't afford organic produce, then at least put your fruit and vegetable in water with vinegar for 10 minutes, as that will reduce the chemical load on the surface. I personally do not advocate eating meat. However, when I was a meat eater, I was buying organic produce as part of reducing my toxicity. Organic meat is a good way of ensuring that you are not consuming animals that have been given preventative dose of antibiotics or hormones to promote their growth. The growth hormones applied to the USA. In the UK, this is banned. The preventative use of antibiotics is leading to serious problems with antibiotic resistance build-up in the population. So when you buy an organic meat, you know you are helping to safeguard the effectiveness of antibiotics. There are also some significant nutritional differences between the organic and non-organic meat produce. Majority of non-organic produce was found to contain much less nutrition. They have 50% less of omega-3, which relates to inflammation in the body, and is higher in harmful fatty acids, which are associated with high cholesterol and insulin resistance. Similar results were found in fish. Farm fish is much less health beneficial than wild fish. Just the definition of preservatives indicates that we should avoid them. They are described as chemical substances that are added into food to prevent decomposition by microbial growth or by undesirable chemical changes, which are, by the way, completely natural. The most natural way of preserving food is freezing and drying, followed by pickling and then canning. But even canning has been mentioned as not 100% healthy due to the significant loss of nutrients and the packaging being from aluminium. We talk about aluminium in more detail in second part of cancer. Preservatives are hiding in almost everything that has been formulated from its original form because food producers must be able to guarantee longer shelf life. Fresh food will denature too quickly and will lead to losses. I know this as I have watched few entrepreneurs, including myself, to fail to bring some preservative and toxin-free products on the market. But the supermarkets were not interested due to the short shelf life. Nowadays, some manufacturers are so clever, they know consumers are more aware of the ingredients and read the labels. They stopped using the E-numbers and used the full name instead, which is even more confusing, as some of them sound healthy, right? Such as calcium phosphate. You would almost think that you are getting daily calcium intake, right? It was easier to recognize preservatives when the label listed E-numbers, but now they are hiding them. Yet again, the best way to avoid them is to cook your food yourself, or at least read the labels and avoid anything strange. The best advice I can give you is to look at the food label and to pick one with the shortest list of ingredients. Let's compare, for instance, a certain famous crisps in a can. The list of ingredients is never ending, so avoid those. But then look at, for instance, kettle crisps with clear label, with nothing strange and short list of ingredients. They are a much better choice. Other very common mistake that I would like you to be aware of is heating up your food in plastic containers. This process releases carcinogens called BPA into your food and consequently raises your toxin levels in your body. This applies also on takeaway foods and ready meals which are placed into plastic containers hot. I can see a lot of people around me making this innocent mistake. My friends, my family, restaurants, takeaways, manufacturers are all not aware of this. The same applies on bottled water. If your bottle has been through warm temperature, it will release these toxins into the water, so don't drink it. But how do you know this hasn't happened during the transportation? I talk about this in more detail in our section on drinks. Stress is the killer. Have you heard this one before? And it's true. I really would like to mention the young celebrity from UK, Jade Goody. If you watched her sad documentary, you realise she was under so much stress and pressure from press and the public. I would not be surprised if the stress was what induced the cancer in her young age. If you are unhappy and in constant stress, you are likely to shorten your life. But I know it's easier said than done with our modern lifestyle not to stress. What I would not recommend as a solution to stress is to take antidepressants. The government's website states that an incredible 17% of adult population in England was using antidepressants in 2018. These figures must be a lot higher right now. Let me tell you about my sister and her close death experience. My sister, who lives in Czech Republic, had a brain clot and nearly died. We were all really concerned, of course, but we thought it's just one of those unfortunate things. A few years later, I read the book How Not to Die, where I got into a section about antidepressants. The author talks about something called cheese effect, which can be caused by combining certain antidepressants with certain types of food, such as cheese, cured meat, and fermented food. The author warns that this combination can cause fatal brain hemorrhaging, which was exactly what my sister had. I knew my sister was on antidepressants, but I wanted to know what she ate that day. I called her and asked her if she remembers it, and she told me that she remembers it really well, as her son pushed her to try sushi for the first time, which she would never normally touch. Most sushi would contain cured meat or fermented food. She also mentioned that her doctor has changed her antidepressants, but has never mentioned any link between these two. Can you see how nobody takes responsibility for the cases of adverse events? Can you see how we would not even consider to challenge the doctor or manufacturer, as we trust them, that they have our best interest in mind? The manufacturer just states the potential risks. Doctor might or might not know about this and prescribes it. But it's up to us to evaluate the risks, which are written on the packaging in the tiniest writing. In the end of the day, they have told us what can happen, and that's the end of it. This doesn't apply just on antidepressants, but all medications. I believe antidepressants can be detrimental to our health if you don't truly need them. Their effectiveness has been also questioned and studied by several authors, and some would agree that quick daily workout and good diet will achieve far more with your cloudy mind than popping a pill. My opinion might not be popular, but I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to spread the truth. I think the way system works is conspiracy. Pharmacology and medicine go hand in hand, turning over billions, and it's more than convenient to keep the nation medicated. Of course, there is a small number of people who truly need antidepressants for their mental health problems, but not to the current extent. I believe antidepressants are overprescribed, and we are led to believe that there is something wrong with us and not the society.